Hi, and welcome back to episode 3. Today is another short episode, just going through what we did at today's track session. So, today's track session, and we're just going to touch a little bit about track sessions and what we sort of get out of them. So, today's track session was a fartlek session. Now, you've probably seen that expression thrown about a bit on social media. People saying they're doing fartlek sessions. And it is like a common session that's done by runners everywhere. But what does it mean? So fartlek literally just means change in speed session. So, normally the coach or whoever's planned your workout sets out what the session's going to look like, and then you will do varying different speed work for either distances or usually time, which is something a lot easier to try and work out. So today we did a rolling 1 minute on, 1 minute off fartlek session. Now this is like a very common session that's done all around the world by different runners. It was it's like the name is Swedish in origin for speed play, but the session was like really popularized by the Kenyan runners, and they often do this type of session where they do 1 minute on and 1 minute off. The fantastic thing about this session is you can get out of it exactly what you require. So whether you're a 5K runner or a half marathon runner or something in between, you can adjust your session to run at paces that suit the type of session you need to do. Now, what I mean by that is today we were doing a focus session on more, top end speed, like around VO2 max speed, and also sort of like muscular development, sort of anaerobic type session for us. Just because we're in a bit of the off season, we're not doing anything specific, but just for the general group, we wanted to work in that sort of area. So that's where we were working today. So what that looked like for us is we were doing 3K efforts, so 3K best pace for the 1 minute on, and for the 1 minute off. It was very hot today, so 95 degrees Fahrenheit or near 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or I think that's around 40 degrees Celsius for us. So our recoveries were walking recoveries. So to make sure that for each of the 1 minute on efforts, we're able to, get around that 3K pace. So we ended up doing around, and we repeated that, for 12 minutes on, 12 minutes off. So 24 minutes in total. A few people who are in the group were sort of doing a bit different. This is where the session's absolutely brilliant because they are doing sort of longer efforts for half marathon type races. So they're doing anything up to 18 minutes on, 18 minutes off. So 1 minute on, 1 minute off. But they were doing a float jog recovery to try and get that sort of, they're not running as intensely in that first part. So they're saying maybe running closer to 5K pace with the recovery jog being, sort of probably maybe, I'd say about 30 to 40 seconds slower on the recovery. Now, obviously they're working in different zones there. They're not working as high. And then obviously their recovery is sort of a bit higher as well, rather than being back down to a walk. So they're not doing as much VO2 max work. It's probably more, working around that threshold pace. But that's the beauty of these sessions and why they're liked by so many. There's also the ability to, with any session that you do, you can go out and do the same as we did with 12 minutes on, 12 minutes off, but you're also able to extend the session as long as you'd like. So you can also bring it up to 15, maybe 20 minutes of good work. So, it means that you're really pushing. With us doing 12 minutes at a 3K pace, for someone like myself who say does like around a 10:30 or 10 something 3K, it means that I'm doing about 110, 115% of my maximum pace, obviously with rests, and with that building up towards, running a faster 3K. And then obviously when we retest the 3K, you can then adjust the speed session. Now, this is a session that you can literally do every week. So I think one thing about people's training is it's often overcomplicated. So if you were going to simplify your training and say, right, I'm going to do a speed session every week on the track, you could quite simply say, I'm going to do this 1 minute on, 1 minute off session on the track every week for 6 weeks. And you could do it forever, but I'm going to do it for 6 weeks, test it, check your paces, check your, you can check your heart rates, check your effort. I think that's one of the most important things is how you feel. And then hopefully you can come back for the next one feeling stronger, and ultimately retest, find your new pace, and then go again. So, I mean, that's running in a nutshell, really. It's just test and retest and then find out what works. But I think you'll find this sort of format a good way to really test yourself, and definitely give it a go. If you've got any questions or you have your own fartlek session, obviously there's many different ways you can do it, then definitely let me know in the comments, and give me a shout and give me a message on socials. I'd like to know, what type of fartlek session you're doing. So thanks very much for listening, and hopefully you get something out of this, and we'll see you about.